Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful day. This morning it's very, very cold outside. Today we decided that I'm going to make butter flap or cocoa bread. So let's go. So here I have 6 cups of flour. It's double what I normally make. I normally do 3 cups of flour, but today I'm going to do 6 cups of flour. I'm going to take some from my son Sean. So first thing we have to do is get the yeast ready. I have 2.5 cups of warm water here, 2 tablespoons of yeast, and sugar. It's a half a cup of sugar. So I'm going to first put the sugar inside, because the sugar helps to activate the yeast. So you mix that up, and then you add the yeast. So my yeast is ready. See, that's how you know that your yeast is alive. I have 2 tablespoons of yeast in there, or you can use 2 packets. And for the flour, I'm going to add, you have to put some salt, so I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, I'm sorry. Mix that up. You know, this is just my way of doing things. I don't know if it's the correct way, but it's my way, you know. I put butter inside of it also. I put some butter to add some buttery taste. So, forgive me. So I have like maybe, I don't know, 3/4 cups of butter here. And here there's like 1 cup of butter that we'll need after. We're going to melt this, and this is what we're going to use for inside the butter flap. So this butter, I just put it inside, and I put it into pieces, little pieces, you know, mix it in like beads. So I mix the butter into the flour. You don't have to do this. This is just an extra step that I do because I like to make it buttery. Some people, I'm sure, is going to say that's not the right way, but I like to do it like that. So now I'm just going to add my yeast. You see the yeast now is like really poofing up there. So my story for butter flap, when I was a little boy, when I was like 6 or 7 years old, I went to live in Georgetown. So this is where I first learned about butter flap. So I want to dedicate this episode to my aunt. Her name is Auntie Lovin. I lived with her, I can't remember exactly, 2 years or 2.5 years in Georgetown. And we used to live in Kingston. And it was a really good time of my life. So across the street from where we lived, there was a bakery. And on Saturday mornings, you can smell the bread. And I remember my aunt sending me over there to buy bread, and that's how come I bought butter flap. We used to buy butter flap, and I liked it a lot. In Guyana, I lived in a small village. I grew up in a small village. This was when I was not in Georgetown. And in the small village, I don't remember getting butterflies. I just remember this when I was living in Georgetown. And also, the other time in my life, in Montreal here, because in my family, me and my boys, we practice Taekwondo. And we train at Raymond Murad Academy on Shepherd Street West in Montreal. And across the street had this takeaway Jamaican restaurant. And she used to sell, Jamaicans call this cocoa bread. I don't know in the other islands if they also call it cocoa bread, but in Guyana we call it butterfly. So my son Sean calls this cocoa bread, and he loves this. So I'm making this. I'm going to visit him today, and I'll take some of this to him. But I have to be careful, because with butterfly, I make two versions of it. I know it's butterfly, it should only be butter, but I make another version with cheese. But Sean doesn't eat cheese, so I have to make sure that I don't give him the ones with the cheese. So I have a trick to that, so I will show you that trick also. So now when I was living in Georgetown, my Aunt Lovin, I used to go to the Guyana Oriental College, that's what it was called, GOAC. It was a private school. And my aunt made sure that I was one of the smartest in that school. And I was. I did really well, actually. But I first went to this school, I think it was called Central High. It was another private school at that time. I don't know if these schools still exist. And I went to, in these schools you have to take an exam. So now with this here, now we'll have to knead it for like 10 minutes. So you be patient and you just knead it. You take, fold, you push with your palm, fold, push, like that. So coming back to the story about my aunt, I was talking about the school. We had to take the exam. And I remember, I was small, must have been 6 years old, coming from the countryside. You feel intimidated when you're in the city. And I went and I took this exam, and then I passed the exam with flying colors. And then I didn't want to, I cried. They had to take me back home because I was crying. I don't know. I found like all the teachers were kind of serious, too serious looking. So I didn't want to go to the school. I remember one teacher came home and actually talked to me and begged me to come. And I go, no, I don't like those teachers. So the next day, my aunt took me to GOAC. I took the exam, I passed it, and then she asked me if I like it there, and I go, yes, those teachers look nice. So I went to that school for 2 years. I think I can't remember exactly. And I did very good. Very, very good. So this episode is for you, Auntie Lovin. I remember you telling me how I can't remember, but my aunt told me about that. But I remember going to I had joined the Scouts, or the Cubs. And I remember joining the Cubs. And she told me that I went actually, I think it's in Eve Larry, I think they call that place. And it was held where they had the kennel for the police dogs and the stable for the horses. And that's where I used to go, I think 2-3 times a week. And we used to learn how to do knots and different things. And I remember the police officers used to train the dogs in a field across. I think that's a cricket field. And that's when, up to now, things that happen in your life when you were small, it stays with you for the rest of your life. Up to now, I'm so in love with German Shepherd dogs and Doberman. I wish I could get a Doberman. Because those were the dogs that the police officers used to train in the fields. And when I was growing up, I saw that. And these dogs were so smart. I fell in love with them, and I still do love those two breeds of dogs. Yeah. So yes, so I was telling you on Saturday mornings I would go across the street and buy butterfly. Oh, the smell of bread. This was in Kingston on Duke Street. Kingston in Georgetown. And that is how come I learned about this and I fell in love with this, and now I make it. Because living in Montreal, there's not too many West Indian stores. It's not like New York and Toronto. The Guyanese population in Montreal is very, very small. I guess it's due to the language, because here we speak French. So this is, it's not quite ready yet. I think it needs a few more minutes, so I'll keep doing this and I'll show you when I'm done. So I've been doing this, I didn't time it. Normally I time myself. This time I didn't time it, but I think I've been doing it for like 10 minutes. You need to do it for around 10 minutes. Because then, you see, it changes. See, this is how it becomes. So now we're gonna leave this to rest. It's really cold in Montreal, so in the house it is kind of cool. So what you do is you put it in the oven. I actually put the oven at 185 degrees and let it warm up. You know, more or less around that time. But make sure you shut off your oven. You don't have to do that. It's just me that do. I do it like that. So you oil the pan. Oil the pan good, because you don't want it to stick. Put some oil on top and around, and then you cover it, put it in a dark place. But like me, it's cold, so I put it in the oven. So you leave this for like an hour, 15 minutes or so, or until it doubles in size. So we leave that there for now. So this is a cheese that I put. You know, I don't like to put the only orange one. This is a cheddar, I think. It's a cheddar, and it's a marble. So because it's mixed with white and orange, so it has a more softer taste. So that's what I do. I just take this and I grate it. So that's what it's like. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to take the flour out from the oven. Wow. So this now, what you do is you punch it down. See, you punch it down, it comes like that. This is why you have to put the oil all around in the pan, so that it can come out. And this now you have to keep kneading it again for another 10 minutes. You know, you can do 6, you can do 7, you can do, you know. Me, I do it until I feel like it's okay. I've been doing this now for like, I don't know, 8-10 minutes or so. But I feel like it's ready, it's done. You know, it feels nice. If you can see, look how it is. It's neat. That's how you know that it's ready. So we're gonna take this now. I'm gonna start to cut into pieces. I don't wanna cut the table, but maybe this is one. So I'll put them into pieces that size, and I'll see how many I'll get. I should get maybe around 16 or so, I think. I will see. So here I have 15. I think the size is beautiful. That's perfect like that. 15. I have my cheese, some flour, and the butter. Oh, yeah, and the brush for the butter. So we'll start to make the butterflies now. So you roll them out, I don't know, 8 inches diameter. I think that's a good size. So you put the butter in the middle. What I did was I took the butter and I put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds so that it can melt. Oops, that's not a good idea. Okay, so then here we fold, and then we fold again. And that's it, that's one that's done. You know, you can do this any size you want, you know. It's there's no law about the size of it. So here I put some butter in the middle again. So what I did was, sorry, the rolling pin was blocking. I put the butter in the middle. I take some of the cheese that we grated. We put them in the middle. like that. Then you fold it. So now you don't want the cheese to seep out. So you can pinch the end down like that, and that will prevent it from seeping out. And then you fold again one more time, like that. And the trick is to know which one is cheese and which one doesn't have cheese. You just put a few strands of cheese on top like that, and that way you're gonna know which one has cheese and which one doesn't. So that's the trick to it. So I'm gonna continue making these now. I think with the previous ones, maybe, you have to remember, I'm not an expert at this. I'm not an expert at this, so, you know, sometimes I make mistakes. I think I roll them out too thin, so I'm going to do them smaller. I think sometimes you can make them bigger, sometimes you can make them smaller. I think this size is good. About, what do we have here? 6-7 inches. You fold, and then you fold again. See? I think this one is nice, like that. So I'll keep doing them at that size. So here it's done. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 with the cheese and 10 without the cheese. So we're going to cover this now, and then I'm going to put it back in the oven for another 45 minutes or an hour, you know, and then after we'll bake that. So this is what a butter flap looks like after about 40-45 minutes. So I'm waiting to put it into the oven. So this, you just bake it 25 minutes or so. You look at it, the color when you bake, and that's it. So I finished brushing it. I brushed some butter on top to give it a nice brown color. Nice color. It couldn't not brown. It wouldn't be brown, and also a nice buttery taste. So I'll put it. We'll bake it for 350 for about 25 minutes or so. So it's 25 minutes. I'm going to check it. This is the one that's on top. And this is the one at the bottom. I think this one needs another, to bake a little bit more. I'll put it on top. And I'll bake that one for 5 minutes more. But this one looks good. Because it'll get darker. Because it's still cooking inside, so it gets darker after a while. Perfect. So the extra 5 minutes is good for this one. What you can do in the middle of, so now I'm just going to rub a little bit of butter on top. What you can do in the middle of, say, you're baking for say 25 minutes, 12, 13 minutes, you switch the pans around. When the pan that is on top gets more heat than the pan at the bottom. So this one I had to cook it, I had to bake it an extra 5 minutes. And that's it. So here you go. So that's my buttery butter flap. And they came out perfectly. So that's my episode today for butter flap. I dedicate this episode to my Auntie Lovin. Auntie Lovin, I thank you very much for being so kind and good to me all the time, when I was small and even when I grew up. I love you very much. Thank you. And please like and share and subscribe to my channel on the button at the bottom. Thank you very much again for spending this time with me, and see you on the next episode.